We have done 18 of 21 days. Wow. The amazing part is we're learning from each other. I went into this thinking I was going to impart some wisdom to other people and just realize that I'm getting just as much back from you as I'm giving. And if you think about it, that's one of the keys to life, to be able to give, but also to receive, to not see things one sided. It's all about me and my feelings and what I think, but it's also about what somebody else feels and what they think and how that impacts me and makes me different. I think that's the beauty of life. And it really is the beauty of a good relationship. I hope that as you started this relationship with us, the Whole Heart team, that it'll be a relationship that you continue, and or the relationships with others who have been part of this process. So I thank you so very much for being part of this. I mentioned to some of you that I'm in the process of moving, and I just think about Mary J. Blige's song, You Can't Break My Soul." I think that moving process also almost broke my soul, but it also gave me some insight. And that insight is also going to be part of what I integrate into my 2025. I'm seeing some things differently, and that difference will make a difference. And that's one of the points too about this process, that you can learn from every single thing that happens to you. And you say, out of this situation, how can I be better? Who can I surround myself to? How can I go to the next level? So whether it's moving, I hope you don't have to move like we did. Not have to, we chose to move in order to create a better situation for ourselves. But I hope you don't have to go through that frustration. But if you do, ask yourself, what can I bring out of this that will make my 2025 better? We spoke many times about this whole idea that bad things can happen to good people. I also say tough things can happen to good people. But if we change our perspective on that and go from woe is me, this is how I'm hurt, this is how everybody did me wrong, and instead say, how can I get better as a result of that? How can I do something a little bit different, more differently? Then I think it will change everything. It takes us from being hurt to being powerful, because we say we have the power of choice. So I encourage you to look at that in every situation. So here's the thing. Yesterday, we tried to go live for you. Part of it was because in the move, we had to go to a new location and some things happened, but that's all right, because what was more beautiful about the process is that we redeemed that moment and said, we're going to give you another way. And I hope that many of you got a chance to look at the video. The video was a shorter one than normal, but I tried to impart the things that I would have imparted if we had been together. We're going to review that a little bit today. But before we do that, I'd just like to look at where we've come from, and just quickly to look at where we've come from so we can get a sense of where we're about to go in these last 3 days together. Believe that, last 3 days together, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21. That's 4 days, but 3 days beyond today. Good morning, Kim. Um, Good morning, Mary. And Kim in the Facebook messages shared some really good news. I hope she's going to share that with you as a group, because she blessed my soul just telling us how this program has made a difference for her. Good morning, Pastor Hardy. It's so good to see that you're here with us, Lois. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to take you to the workbook that we started out with, and that is the 21 Days to Life workbook that you have. There's a couple things that I wanted to remind you of. And when we look at 2021 and what we want to do differently, we're making sure that you understand that anytime we look at goals, anytime we look at the direction we want to go to, we see that as a head, heart, and hands issue. We've got to look at the emotional side of everything that we're doing, the logical side, but also the action oriented, the execution side, because a lot of times we feel things and we think things, but if we do nothing about it, then we're absolutely doomed. We say in the whole heart world, what we're trying to help people achieve is CPR. We're whole heart. So, of course, we're going to talk about CPR. This is being able to resuscitate your life. And we call that comfort through connections, peace through processes, and restoration through results. So, I want to remind you that this is what we're trying to do together. Everything we have done each day is intentional in feeding back to that, as well as the line before where it says we're going to live intentionally, fearlessly, and expectantly. The other thing on that page that I wanted to point out to you is that, um, and again, it all works together. I always think it's important that we know what is that we're trying to do. And so in this program, we said we're trying to communicate our pain, power, and purpose. We're trying to process our past, present, and progress and respond to internal, external, and eternal influences. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Because if you're thinking about the declaration page, it is exactly what we're doing. And so I just want to remind you that by now, we have several declarations we've stated. I've had you go back and add that information, and it goes exactly from the program and what we're trying to achieve. All right. That being said, I want you to just acknowledge for yourself that you have gone through so far 17 days of questions. We did the first week, who are you really? We did the second week, that's all about what's holding you back. And now we are focusing on what will you achieve this year. So I'm telling you all of that because I want us to recognize, whew, we've had a workout in these 21 days. We have done the heart work to make our lives work. And I just want to say to you, this is amazing. What I also want to say is this 21 days doesn't have to end at 21 days. You can keep going back to the questions and the answers and asking them and revisiting them. You can pull other people into the process. Perhaps you have a daughter and she's struggling a little bit trying to figure out where she wants to go or what she wants to do in her career. You absolutely can work through those questions day by day with that person, one day at a time, because there's a tendency for us wanting to do everything right now. And part of this process was to give you a little bit each day, walk you through that process every single day. So, for those of you who are live and those who watch later, I'm just curious, as you've watched yourself go through these 18 days so far, what is it that stands out about what you've done or what other people have done that just makes your heart smile? What are you proud of? What are you noticing in this moment? And if you're willing to share that in the comments, I absolutely love people talking back to me, even if we have to do it later on Facebook. I want to interact with you because that's how I learn, grow, and heal. All right. So as you're adding comments, what I want to do at this moment is to actually revisit very quickly what it is that we talked about yesterday. So if you think about it, on day 16, when we were together, I said that we always have these goals, but there's some areas of our health that we really want to be aware of: our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial health. That I said to you then that when I help clients, if I only help them with their mental health and forget the other areas, that I've done them a disservice. So I asked you to rate where you were as of right now, in terms of on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, and then where you want to be by the end of this year. And in rating where you want to be, I just wanted you to describe what exactly that looked like. We want to be able to move towards success, but in order to know what success looks like, we have to be able to articulate it. So that's the reason that I wanted you to do that. As we move forward, on day number 17, what I asked you is that if you think about it, there are a number of goals. You might have come into the year with some goals. You might have set your word as a goal, and you might have come up with a new goal because of this process. And so, what I asked you to do is to really think about that goal and now add one of those areas of health to it, whether it's financial health, spiritual health. I'm going to show you my answers to that in a second so you get a better sense. So, that's exactly what I asked you on the video. What's funny is, before I made the video, I was thinking the question was going to be a little bit different. And initially the question was, what do you need to do? Why are those areas of health important to your progress? So some of you may have answered that question. Why are those 5 areas of health important to your progress? Or you may have answered the secondary question that I asked, which was, take your goal, one goal for 2025, and add an aspect of that health to it so that you can restate the goal. And as I say that, I want to walk you through, because actually what I did is, respecting both questions, I asked myself both questions. And so let's go to my sheet with my answers. So I want to say first that on day 16, what you see here is me rating myself in each area. So emotionally, I said I'm a 7. I want to be an 8. What does that look like? I'm stopped impacted so much by other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. I find myself always triggered by other folks, and I want to stop that. When it comes to mental health, I want to take time for rest, reflection, and restoration. Spiritual health, I want regular engagement in a church community. Physical health, I want to focus on diet and exercise in small, consistent ways. I don't want to all of a sudden join a gym and get a trainer because I know I'm not going to do that. But what I can do is say that I'm going to walk 3 times a week and I'm going to drink more water each day. And then when it comes to financial, I wanted to minimize my debt and maximize my income. So that's the predecessor for day number 17, where I said, identify one goal I'll focus on in 2025 and restate that with an area of health. So I said in the video yesterday, I will lead whole heart to achieve a quantum leap in serving more people and will do so while minimizing expenses and maximizing income. I want you to hold on to that question for a second because I'm going to take you back to our declaration page. But I also wanted to acknowledge that some of you may have answered the question of why are those areas of health important. And what I wrote was making progress mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, and spiritually in 2025 is necessary for me to achieve balance, to attain peace, to reflect the light, and to be the light. I just needed to state that. So, whether you answered either of those questions, today I'm going to challenge you to go back to our declaration page, and for the block that says um, progress, I want you to restate either of these goals in a way that highlights how in 2025 you are going to make progress, because these goals, they have to be achieved in a way that's intentional. And I think one of the ways we do that is we state what we're going to do. So if I take you back to, now keep in mind, what I decided to is to work with my first definition, which is I will lead whole heart to achieve a quantum leap in serving more people and will do so while minimizing expenses and maximizing income. And so, what I wanted to do when we go back to that declaration page is I wanted you to start by saying 2025 or this year, I will make progress by. So, my first thought was to take exactly those same words and just say, in 2025, I'll make progress by leading whole heart, blah, blah, blah. But when I got to answer the question, or and put the declaration, I struggled a little bit because number one, the way that I had worded it just didn't inspire me. And I don't think it properly reflected my heart in terms of what I'm trying to do. So I played with the words, I wrote, I erased, I rewrote. And what I came up with for the declaration page under the progress caption is, in 2025, I will make significant progress by leading whole heart to make quantum leaps in serving more people, and will do so by minimizing unnecessary expenses, maximizing income by serving more people who can afford to pay, and using the overflow to bless those who need financial assistance. That, when I read it, it captured my heart, because it's not just about making money and charging more people. It is about serving more people who need it, regardless of their ability to pay. And so this becomes part of my declaration page, and I'm so excited by that. And I hope that it makes some sense to you. As you think about your declarations, I'd love to hear a little more about that. But I also see that some people have made comments. So I want to recognize Edwina. She says, I am proud of the commitment and discipline muscle that I have been strengthening with you all on this 21-day journey. Yeah, you working it out. And that is so important. I absolutely love that. I see that Donna has a comment, and she says, what I am proud of. Oh, Donna, I thought it was Don. It's Dion. Go ahead, girl. I know your name. I'm trying to read little and I just, But Dion says, what I am proud of, my word for the year is intentional. And I am proud that I have been using my time with intention instead of being, doing, going, sometimes without intention, to support what I think it was, some of it got lost there. Support, I'm sorry, D. Okay, so for some reason the whole comment didn't come through, but I love what you're saying, that you're just being intentional. And Dion, as we say that, I think everything we do is a choice. So when we're going, doing, being, rushing, that is a choice. And you're saying I'm making a different choice, and a different choice is I'm going to use my time differently, which I think is absolutely beautiful. So we have, as we applaud ourselves for the work that we've done so far. What we're doing now is transitioning and saying we're going to state how we're going to continue to make progress. Because if we lose it, if we do all this on 20 for 21 days, and then we walk away and start acting like we did before, then we have not achieved anything. The work that we do has to be supported. And the declaration page, I think, is one of those easy ways to do it. Back when I was a consultant in corporate America, I worked with new business owners. And as I did, they came in, they were ready to start their business, and they had business plans that were 30 to 200 pages. And I never accepted that. I said, give me a one-page business plan, something you will look at every single day and say, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm going to achieve. Because realistically, they were not going to look at 30 pages. Realistically, you're not going to look at 3 pages of answers to questions I've asked you over these 21 days. But what you will do is look at that declaration page. And so that declaration page becomes a high level reminder of who you are, where you're going, and what you're going to achieve. So that's the reason why I want you to come back and make sure you fill out all the 9 of those squares, because it's all important to your success and welfare. All right. So with the declaration page, I'm excited about what you're doing, but I also want to note that we have a couple more comments for Mary. She says, I am proud that I took the time to really get to know myself with the 21 days and look forward to life changes in 2025. Mary, I love it. And again, we've got to stick with it and keep reminding ourselves. So we've created community. Let's keep that community going. And then, so Kimberly says, glory to God, starting from day one question, who am I? Then dig deeper. Dr. Denise, thank you for your classes encouraged me into action after each session. I started to pursue my career search, being determined. And for some reason, the whole comment isn't coming through. But what I do know about Kimberly is she had the courage and commitment to go to a job fair and was asked questions and made a job offer on site. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I applaud you, Kim. Keep it up, keep doing it, and keep reaching and believing. In that vein of keep reaching and believing, um, the question that I have for today, are you ready? Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. You have indicated what your goal is, one of the goals that you're going to pursue, hopefully, or why it's important to pursue different goals. But now that you've done that, the question for today is, who do I need to be in 2025? In order to achieve that goal, let me restate it. In order to achieve that goal or those goals, who do I need to be in 2025? And this speaks to what Dion said about being intentional and being instead of always doing. So, who do I need to be in 2025? And so, always I don't just ask you the question. I try to make sure that I'm answering the questions just the same. So I wanted just to share with you very briefly that I had a chance to answer that question as well. Sorry about that. And so, as you know, I always try to restate the goal with I words. So I put to achieve my goal, who do I need to be in 2025? And I came up with 3 words. I don't know where these words came from, but the first one was intentional. Yeah, we got something in common. It says for to be intentional is I wanted to define that as being strategic in my choices and my associations. 2025 is going to be a year where I decide who I'm going to be around and how I do things and not say everything is happening to me. I choose. The second thing I want to do is be fearless. That's unafraid to take risks and to share my gifts or the gifts of the organization. Um, I think it's so funny because even in doing this 21-day program, I've said to people that my son really just kind of pushed me into this. I had a choice, but not really. And so going into the program, I did it, we literally decided this 2 days before the new year was to start. And after we did the first day, and I'm scrolling Facebook and I see my face live, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that I was going to be on Facebook live like this. And it's just like, I don't want to be out there like that. I'm so nervous. And in this case, it was good that I didn't have a chance to think about it. But in future cases, I need to think about it and say, yep, I don't want my face out there, but I'm going to do it anyway in order to share the gifts that we have with the world. And then the last word was expectant. Again, I don't know where these words came from, but I define that as having faith that good things will happen, that believing that instead of, oh, woe is me, it's never, nothing ever works out. So I'm going to be intentional, fearless, and expectant. That's my goal for who I want to be in order to achieve my goals. Maybe I should say living too. I just want to live because I think sometimes I restrict myself way more than I should. And that might be part of who I want to be in 2025. The point to you is tongue in cheek that I want you to really say, who do I need to be in 2025? It's a variation of some of the questions that we had before, but I'm telling you, as we peel back the layers of this onion, there's something very sacred about who you want to be. And I can't wait because I'm not going to tell you about tomorrow, just to tell you that tomorrow, I know a lot of y'all going to be in church. I'm so proud of you. I'm going to go to church after I record. But in doing so, I want to make sure that if you miss it in the morning, remember, we have it in the evening or afternoon. As soon as you get done, you can do what you've been doing, which is to come in, enjoy hopefully enjoy what's being presented, do your homework, and then join us for the next day. When you're answering a question, I just want to remind you, you answer it now, think about it during the day, make your final answer at night, and keep this process going. Last but not least, don't forget that an optional project is to take that declaration page, personalize it for yourself, create what we call a word board. We put our word in the center of the board and let we either have pictures or quotes or scriptures or whatever on that board to remind us of. In fact, I'm in my office and I'm looking straight ahead of me, and it's my board from the year before. And I just keep that around me because I want to remember what's important to me. So if you want to create a physical board that reminds you of the work that we've done together, I would love that because I want to get some pictures so we can show each other. Or if you want to do a virtual board, do something on Canva or some other way. It's not about how involved it is, or because it could be very basic, me just writing on a piece of paper. It's about having that visual reminder of the commitment that you've made because it must go beyond 21 days. If you need our help, we're here. I love working with you. I love this process. And I am hoping that you have a phenomenal day today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.